Hey everybody, just a quick message from Bald and Bonkers Network. We would like to remind everybody that certain topics of discussion may not be comfortable for all listeners. Certain viewpoints may not reflect those of our partners, sponsors, affiliates, our hosts, or that of our guests. We would like to encourage everybody to keep a respectful and open climate of discussion for all topics, no matter how disturbing they may be. So viewer discretion is advised.
In life, you never know what crystals may just lie inside what you see. This is The Inner Court, featuring the Smith Family Paranormal Investigations. Uncover the gems deep inside the mysteries to see what you discover.
Hello, folks. Welcome. If you do wind up popping in, please say hello. We will get started tonight on what the title says, who is now reporting UFO encounters, or finally releasing some type of press saying that they have evidence. Well, as you guys hop in, we will be talking about a well-known area that a lot of us are familiar with is the Pentagon. And they just released May 17th of 2022 a news release of 400 UFO encounters. They do have footage here, which I was not given permission to show. So I will put the link. I'll put the link in the chat. That way, if you guys want to go back and look at the footage and the little video. That's not what I wanted. Sorry, guys. Welcome. When you guys come in, please say hello. I am going to dive right into this as soon as I copy and paste this link. That way you guys can either follow along with me. It is a pretty complicated one. I do apologize. I think okay. I did share out. When you guys come in, please share out. The Pentagon now reports about 400 UFO encounters. We want to know what's out there. Officials are reasonable. Sure. Pear-shaped objects in one video. And at one point, before they did further investigations, they thought it was a drone. It was not, because they have it on video. Again, I was not given permission to show that. I was allowed to read the article, but ABC News did not give me permission to show the report and the conference that they had. So top Pentagon officials told a House panel on Tuesday that there are now close to 400 reports from a military personnel of possible encounters with UFOs. A significant increase from 144 tracks in a major report release last year by U.S. intelligence community. A Navy officer also said at Tuesday's hearing that investigators are reasonable confessed the floating pyramid-shaped object captured on one leaked and wide-seen military video were likely drones, is what they thought. The footage, which a military confirmed last year was authentic, had helped spur interest in transporting UFOs, also referred to as unidentified phenomena, or UAPs. Indiana, Representative Carson, a Democrat of the House of Intelligence, called Tuesday's hearing the first in more than 50 years, focused on the incident. So now they're paying more attention and really thinking about this. Far too long of a segment associated with UAPs has gotten in the way of good intelligence analyzing. He added, pilots avoid to report and launch at when they did. So now and I have read the other reports to this, maybe we'll hit that on another show, but there is pilots, Navy pilots, and other military pilots that are out there seeing these, and they see the UFOs, they see the ships, they see the proof firsthand, eye to eye. Not only does their camera on their airplanes or aircrafts or whatever catch it, but now they have a way of going back and deleting it. So the pilots are not turning their evidence in, they're deleting it. So that does not help their research and what they're doing. Deputy Director of Naval Intelligence, Scott, explains a video of unidentified aerial phenomena as he testifies before the House Intelligence Committee hearing at the U.S. Capitol on May 17th, 2022 in Washington, D.C. So this was all just released. They, at one point, was holding this information captive because they were worried about everybody's response to what was going on. So now, as they start to release this, everybody's scratching their head, curious, and trying to figure out, is this true? Why are they holding this information for so long? Well, the simple thing is the people that don't believe and don't accept what's going on and know that we are not alone, we all know that, freak out a little bit. And they don't want them freaking out and thinking, oh, great, we're going to die, all this crazy stuff that we've talked about before. So the number of UAPs report has risen to approximately 400, a significant increase from the 144 between 2004 to 2021 that were tracked in last year's report, according to Scott, the Deputy Director of Naval Intelligence. Scott told the House panel that the strike was due to a reduction in the segment associated with the stepping forward to report such incidents in the wake of 2021 report. We have seen an increasing number of unauthorized and unidentified aircraft and objects, a military control training area and training range, and other designed airspace. Scott said, reports of seeing a frequent and continuous. So wherever the military is, like we've said before, that they are learning from us as well as we are learning from them. My thinking is that is why they are hovering over the military. Of course, they're hovering everywhere else. They're flying all over the world. But this is where the military and the naval intelligence has caught a lot of this activity, is because it's around them. and we have talked about the electro fields, and they're charging, and they're learning our ways of the technology part and communication. By Braves, which is Scott, believes many of the newly disclosed accounts are actually historic reports that are navigated based from the prior incidents that people are only now coming forward with, which leads him to believe there will be fewer new accounts in the future. That's only because the military are now deleting any evidence that they get. Last year's intelligence report could only explain one of the documented 144 encounters and did not contain the words alien or extraterrestrial. The report stated then that the UAP incident would require further study. At Tuesday's hearing, Scott echoed last year's counsel that most of the phenomena were likely physical objects, and noted that the UAP task force doesn't have any wreckage that isn't consistent with being a terror organ. Even so, Scott said, questions remain, always remain. I can't point to something that definitely was not man-made, but I can point a number of examples which remain unresolved, Scott said. City video of 2004 incident in which a naval pilot recorded a unusual tic-tac-like object. So we all know what that looks like over the water. We want to know what's out there. As much as you want to know what's out there, said Ronald. The Pentagon top intelligence official who also testified at the hearing. The Pentagon is establishing an office to speed up the identification and previous unknown and unidentified airborne objects in a methodological, logical, and standard manner. Hey sis, hey ma. For some reason, it wasn't showing me anybody's. Yeah. So all of this is stuff that I was able to get from ABC News. I did reach out to them about showing some of their briefings, but they said no. I shared the website up here. It's just a public website, but I had to ask permission because it is a video. I didn't want anybody to get in trouble. Oh, I just lost my spot. No, I didn't. We also understand that there has been a cultural surrounding a UAP Mole said, our goal is to eliminate the segment by fully incorporating air operations and mission personnel into the standardized data gathering process. Well, I'm glad you guys are doing good. Our goal is to strike that delicate balance, one that enables us to maintain the public's trust while preserving those capabilities that are vital to the support of our service personnel, he said. So apparently with this, as they go through everything, because Scott said Navy and Air Force crew now have to step-by-step procedures for reporting on a UAP on their kneeboard in the cockpit, and that these efforts have lead to more reports. Well, obviously, because now they're looking at the crews and the pilots closer now, because they're realizing when they go back through, apparently they have a way of doing it, of looking at their deleted footage, their corrupt footage that they got rid of. And now they're realizing that there's more out there than what they actually realized. So this is what's getting the crews and the pilots in trouble, because they're not reporting what they are supposed to be reporting. The increasingly mainstream interest in UFOs and UAPs. Hello, Launch. How you doing? Has been sparked in recent years by leaks of one classified video and a Navy's release of a footage from their pilot's own encounter. Yeah, it's definitely true. I mean, the pilots and the crews don't take this seriously. We're curious. We want to know. I mean, a lot of us have already had, contact and abductions and communication and vital evidence that we have. But now the Pentagon and the government and the federal and the military are just now catching on. This report was just back in May of this year, 2022. And ABC News is just now releasing it. So they had a press hearing on what was going on. I do have videos on here. I did put the link in the chat so you guys can go back and look at that. I was not given permission to show the videos. Just out of respect, that's just how we go. At Tuesday's hearing, a defense officer played 3 clips to help explain how brief an aerial incident could be, making it very difficult to determine what was seen in the video. So what they're talking about is this triangular thing floating around out there with the, yes, but we don't get listened to, but the government workers, they don't get to look at us crazy. No, and you know something, eventually they're going to look at themselves crazy. They're going to look like, at the end of the day, I should have reported this. Why? Not to incriminate anybody. It's not to harm anybody. It's vital stuff to let them know, hey, some people that actually do believe in it and do have the experience are actually telling the truth, because it's here. I have the proof. And if you go back on this link after I'm done, it will, hey Sam, it will show you the clip of the briefing. They literally show what has been caught on the crew's video. The public should And I agree, sis, I do. Oh, I absolutely do. Yeah, we definitely should be taken seriously because there's a lot like yourself that has had experiences. Yes, I've had my experience, but not like a lot of yous. So I agree. Everybody should be taken serious in this matter. And, it's not, I don't believe they're here to hurt us. I really don't. If it was one of those, they want communication, they want to learn just like we want to learn. That's why we study. We hit the books daily, we, do our work, do our meditation, do our prayers, do our, whatever it takes. Then that's what we're going to do. And that's pretty much what they're doing. They're here because they want to be here. They don't want to be here just to take over. They want to be here because they want to learn, just like we want to learn from them. In one of the more notable cases, the officials detailed how incredibly effort went into determining a theory of what was observed. So, at first, when they first started this, yes, they really thought it was a drone. It was somebody spying on them. You know how the military thinks. We're being spied on. So, it's just one of those, that's what they thought when they first looked at it. Granted, a lot of people would if you're not familiar. Scott played the footage taken in July of 2019 off the California coast from the deck of the destroyer USS Russell that seemed to show several pyramid-shaped objects hovering above the ship. Some as the stuff they use to determine, they never thought that they can do anything to us and stop us revealing things through mouth. And yeah, I mean, I agree. Being told by a government. Yeah, and that's why I like to dig into this stuff, because there's, yes, I know I can go just off of my little experience, of what I have experienced. But to me, my experience was not enough to validate. I mean, I did. Sis, even Sherry, she was on a video call with me and we experienced it. It was here. It literally came into this office. So, we are open and not trying to catch them. Exactly. I've always said that too. If you keep an open mind and you're open and welcome to them, they will be the same to you. If you seem a threat to them, then they're going to do the same to you. Just like what we do here on Earth, treat others how you want to be treated. Yeah, that was, and I'm not going to lie, that kind of scared me until I had you up on video and you walked me through it, because it was new. I wasn't denying it. It was new. It wasn't, I knew, just like last night. I don't know if you saw the video that I sent, but it wasn't paranormal. Hey, UFO, Bigfoot, how you doing, honey? Howdy. But last night I sent to the company chat a video of my cat likes to play with, when we're not using them, our little cat balls. And if you move them or touch them, they'll light up. I was nowhere near my nightstand. I was covered up with my blanket watching my TV show, and out of nowhere, the light went off. And I don't know why. And I did not feel the presence of the paranormal, if that makes any sense. I know to some it doesn't, but to me, now that I'm getting into the both sides of the world, of the experience, it leads me into a different feeling. And it's not bad. It's really not, because all my spirits here in the house are family, or have become family. Well, that was the thing last night. I just put my CPAP mask on. I have to sleep with a mask that helps me breathe at night when I lay down because I can't breathe otherwise. So I was just laying there and I was like, okay, well, that was weird. I didn't touch it. Nothing was around it. I'm just laying here. So next time it happens, if it does, then yeah, I'll ask. But I was like, weird. So yeah, I mean, I do enjoy, and I am now noticing the difference between the UFO side to the paranormal side, and I can tell which one's visiting, if that makes any sense. I don't know. To some it does, to some it don't. It's just, I'm getting used to it, put it that way. Scott acknowledges that investigators did not initially have an explanation for what was seen in the green light scope video. Good. I'm glad you do, sis, because when I say that, I feel like I'm going crazy, but I know I'm not. But it's just, unless you understand it, I'm there. Until they were able to contrast it with a more recent video for an incident that occurred off the coast of Atlantic Ocean. So now, and if you go in, I'm glad. That's why I go to you for a lot of things, because I know you'll understand. So if you go into the link that I posted, let's see if it'll let me do it again. The last time I did it, I clicked myself out of it. So this link I'm going to post has all of the conference copy videos. Sis, you're going to have to explain that to me. It will get more if you let them. So I just put the link to what I'm reading. It is by ABC News, and it's from the Pentagon that they did a report. They do have videos from the Pentagon, declassified Navy videos that show the UFOs and such. The effects of them and the spirits can be alike. I hear the tones when they visit. See, I heard a humming the other day, and all I was doing sitting here. I didn't have no videos going like I normally do. So yeah, I mean, I'm kind of getting used to that. Officials who looked at the video found a similar pyramid shape that concluded the phenomena were likely from a drone, so they think, that had been seen on sensors from other naval assets. We are now reasonably confident that these triangles correct with an unmanned aerial system in the area, Scott explained. The triangular appeared is a result of a light passing through the night vision goggles and then being recorded by a SLR camera, a sensor light. Yes, that is normal. Good. As I do hear that every now and then. It's a very light, but I do hear it. So I'm glad that's what it is. It doesn't worry me because I'm pretty sure unless, something bad's going to happen, I would know the difference. I'm pretty sure. This is a great example of how it takes considerable effort to understand what we are seeing in the examples that we are able to collect, he added. So again, this is them adding their inputs on what they saw. And I would assume, and this is just me from reading this, that with the crews, that they are getting their input as well, because seeing it firsthand is a great experience. Sorry. Yeah, and that's exactly what it is. Normally when it's a spirit, I get tingly, and I'll know, because being able to see them makes that easier too, obviously, when they want to be seen. You know, that's on their choice. Ahead of the hearing, Jeremy Corbell, a documented filmmaker and UFO illustrator who made public that pyramid video last year, said he was happy to see increasing awareness and government actions. Well, I think it's about time. Oops, that me. What is so great that this is a direct response to the public will. Corbell told ABC News, it is direct response to public press. It is representatives, government represent the citizens and their interests. I am encouraged by the public's desire to know and find out the truth, what UFOs represent to humankind. Corbell said then, it's the biggest story of our time, obviously, but a lot of us know a lot more than this. And finally, we are beginning to have the conversation without ridiculous and stigma that has so injured the search of scientific truth on the topic. The Pentagon official said on Tuesday's hearing that he wasn't immune a bit to the zeal himself as a science fiction fan. I have gone to conventions. I'll say it on the record. Got to break the ice somehow. He told the panel in one light-hearted line of a questioning at it. We have air questions. That was basically him. It needs to be out. They will not hide no more. Yeah, I agree. Sis, you want to come up on panel? So, I mean, that was, let me see if it'll let me. A few answers of unclassified UFO reports. Yeah, this is the same thing we just talked about. But the picture I do have, when you seen before I started, was a picture that I was given to put up. Other than that, I was told no. If they want to see it, they can see it on their own time. And we all know they're not afraid. They're not going to hide. They want what they want. And to me, it's not a bad thing. You know, communicate with them. They're very intelligent. Yeah, that's fine. I do have other UFO reports. I'm slowly getting them out there. I have been doing a lot of digging. So if anybody has any questions, please let me know. This was a very interesting one that I was able to do. I couldn't get a hold of anybody, obviously, from the Pentagon. Who are you going to get a hold of? Besides the secretary that put you on hold, and then you get elevator music. That was brilliant. 45 minutes of elevator music and nobody. I'm like, yeah. Okay. Emails didn't work. Phone calls didn't work. So this is what I was given. ABC News was obviously willing to produce something, which was better than nothing. And this was like one of my recent ones that I literally just got. Well, I mean, we've already, yeah, what they want is they want to learn from us like we want to learn from them. They want to learn our way of living just like we want to learn, their culture. We went through what they wanted, as in the technology, the communication, and how we started back with the what is it? Morse code. And you hear the well, that's them communicating the Morse code. They can do that. They have that technology. Why? Because they have been watching. They have been learning. Just like we are learning from them. That's why when they said it was a drone, it's not a drone. Why? Because it looked like a light, a star, a ball. Even though they got the shape of the pyramid, the triangle. It's just one of those, they're learning from us as we're learning from them. It's plain and simple as that. I mean, interesting to see what that is. So now the Pentagon announces new group to investigate report of UFOs near certain military sites. So now they're pinpointing sites, military sites, like we already know the Navy. Navy is one of them because they were the biggest ones. They're the ones that caught the first yeah, I mean, they definitely want to talk. I mean, like you said, you talk to them, and it's great. They're now learning the vocals of it. So I mean, it's one of those. They are intelligent, very, very intelligent. And I have had quite a bit. I mean, I wasn't quite sure at the time what it was. But it's just one of those, you got to take it how it is. And if, they want to present yourself, then be open. And as a lot of you know, that I've been learning every day about myself and who I am, and, what is real, what is not, what can happen, what, to be careful about. It's just different things. I don't ever say nothing is real, because a lot of things that people would think are not real are actually real. And we always say, until you have the experience. And honestly, before I had my first experience with UFOs, I'm not going to lie, I was a little skeptic. I mean, who wasn't? But I was not denying it. I was not saying it wasn't out there. I was not saying it wasn't true. I was just saying, it's there. Okay. But because I didn't experience it, we were in Ocean City when I got my first glimpse of the ship. And when I mean glimpse, we were sitting on the side of the boardwalk, just finished the ghost tour, and I happened to look over to my left, into the water because it was Assateague Island over there in the water. And if you look, you could probably see the horses. Well, no horses were out. A lot of what? Exactly, and that's why we are investigators and researchers, to provide the real and the truth. You know, that's what makes us who we are. That's why we do this. But we were, again, standing there, we were talking about the totem pole that sits there at the beginning of the Ocean City on boardwalk right before you get to the parking lot. And we were sitting there just talking because she knew we were a new investigation company, and she knew what we did. She allowed us to video some, but we told her unless we got any evidence, we weren't going to do the audio. It would just be video anyway. So that was just for the copyright. But I looked over because, again, over in the water, somewhat towards the shore, is Assateague Island. And like I said, they had beautiful horses over there. They're wild. Unless you piss them off, they're not going to bother you. But I just wanted to look because I've never been to Assateague until just recently. So we wound up looking over, and I saw this ginormous saucer. No lie. It covered the entire island, the Assateague, that hangs off. And if you guys have seen it, you'll know. It's pretty big. Yeah, exactly, babe. And all I saw was a string of lights go straight across the midway of the saucer and go back. That quick. And I had my camera in my hand, but did not think to hit record because it literally caught me off guard. Like, literally. And Chad asked me, yo, you just saw a ghost. What's wrong? And we were joking because we just got done finishing a ghost story. And then I told him, and then I got upset because I didn't capture the evidence. But it was the experience. And I believe that was my very first time. And then I come home, and what was it, about a month or so later, a little bit later, I started seeing shadows. Well, they were different than what the people, my shadow people that are already here, my paranormal, my spirits. It wasn't the girls. It wasn't the little boy. It wasn't my grandmother or any family member or the cotton pickers or, the Navy. Not Navy. It's a military guy. I don't remember the branch. I do apologize. It wasn't anybody that we knew. So I did. I got Sherry on there, and it was just me in the house. Everybody else worked, I think. I don't remember. And it was broad daylight. And it was just me. And then everything was either a knock or a bang or a noise. And this was before we got Lily. And it was a little weird. So I had Sherry on there, and she's telling me what it is. And I was a little spooked because it was new. Sherry knows my anxiety gets me when it's new things. And, I was not quite sure what was going on. So I showed her as I was walking, and she told me what it was and what to do. I did the sounds, and I had to do the sounds a few times. She stayed on the video call with me up until we both knew it was okay. And then I went and took a nap afterwards because I was wore out. I was drained, more drained. Yeah, you always do. You and Aura always do. But yeah, it drained me more than what it would when I go and do the paranormal investigations with my abilities. It was like I was done for the day. I went and took a nap, and then by the time I was done, everybody was coming home. So that was my second one. I'm trying to think. This before last night, yeah. Yeah, and I just think it was their way of saying, hey, I'm here. And that was okay. But it was just the fact that it literally took everything. Like when you guys see me on the shows here, I don't know if anybody notices, but Sherry and I, but there's tons of orbs around me. They will go darting across the screen or in front of me. Sometimes I can see them out of the corner of my eyes, but a lot of times if I'm reading or if I'm talking, I'm not really concentrating on my surroundings. I know the other night, what was it, last week, sis? I don't remember. It was you, me, and Chad. And constantly saw orbs all around me. I mean, they were darting everywhere. It was crazy. And we were supposed to do a investigation that night. Yeah, I mean it's everywhere. It's just the paranormal in the house, and I'm used to that. Granted, I'm always tired because they're always here. And I do my meditation prayers. Do not drain me. Do not take my energy. Well, some of them are a little more persistent than what I would like. But, we get along. We're good. Just like here, over in this corner, there's someone standing right there. Sis, I don't know if you see him, but normally I'll have either one or two of the kids come in, and the reason why I look over my shoulder is not because of the cat, even though this is her secretary chair, is because I'm not alone. And I'm just curious who's with me. Who's here? Because I know somebody is. Just like our porcelain dolls are over in the corner here where they like to stay, unless we do an investigation, which they have not hollered for yet. So with the UFOs and paranormal, the unknown, always keep your eye out. It's not only in the sky. They are now getting more brave, I'd say. Yeah. So it's one of those, they are wanting to communicate more. They are wanting to be known. They are very curious to what is going on here on Earth and what they can learn. It's kind of like you send your kids to school to go learn. And when we done, I see orbs on the camera too. Yeah, I mean, that's all the time. Yeah, so I'm thinking about sometime this week, if you guys would like, I can, because I'm going to start moving this stuff out. This room's going to eventually be my mom's, so I'll do an investigation overnight. I know a lot have liked that before. And see, I know the girls will like to come out and play. You guys know they always do. Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, we are definitely magnets. I mean, I'm okay with it unless they start to hurt me. Like, I woke up the other night and had a massive bruise on my side, and I have no clue how it happened. No clue. Does not hurt. It's just there. Really, really dark. And it has a little white dot in the middle of it. So, I don't know. Could it be something? Or could it be I just pinched myself really, really hard? I'm pretty sure I noticed that. But no, I do believe a lot of things are out there. It's why we always say keep your eyes open, keep your cameras handy if you don't get shocked like I do. I don't always remember when things happen. It's one of those, I'm in the moment, I'm right there, and that's just how it goes. But if anybody has any stories that they would like to share, do not hesitate. Do not be scared. You can either tell me, tell Sherry, tell B&B, my husband Chad, which is in the chat. and we can put it up for you. If you don't want to be known, we can do it anonymous. But it's interesting to hear others' stories. We will be doing on Anchor too. So if you want to be heard on there too, I mean, that's your choice, your preference. But I think it would be very interesting to hear everybody else's stories on the unknown. Because I say unknown because it puts everything in one. The skinwalkers, the Bigfoot, the Goatman, the UFOs, the paranormal. I mean, it's just one big category it's a lot of files. So with that, I hope Pentagon releases some more. When I find out more, then we will go from there. This one that they did was a year before the one that they just released. So this one leads up to the one that I just read. And it says the Pentagon reports complies in June could not explain 143 incidents. And they are just now dissecting it. And they're videos. It's not like they're pulling them out of the sky, because that's going to be kind of hard to do. But you get my drift. They're pulling the videos and the captures and whatever they can to prove what it is. And a lot of times they think it's spies until they get zoomed in. That's how a lot of things happen, especially in the paranormal world. That's how that happens until you start dissecting a video or a picture or whatever. Not talking about lightening it or photoshopping it, just, going over your evidence. And that's finally what the Pentagon's doing. Finally. So I do hope that they do something. I mean, it's not a bad thing. When I say I hope they do something, I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that in an educational, accepting, open. Oh, let me know when you do it. I would love to watch. But yeah, I don't ever mean anything negative when I say I hope they do something. Because I know I've had that comment come back before, where I don't know why you're wishing negative. Well, I'm not. If you know me, you know I don't wish negative along anybody. That's just who I am. So yeah, sis, let me know. I would love to watch. So yeah, I mean, as well as the Pentagon is going, there somebody. Huh? No, you don't. No, you don't what? You threw me off. So I will look into. There was a report from. So there was a. Okay, that is muted. You don't get negative. No. I mean, I defend the ones I need to defend, but other than that, I don't like to project negative. And if I see any, I try to walk away. So we have a few more minutes. So there was a retired U.S. Navy pilot recalls seeing a tic-tac encounter. And this was in Washington, June 24th. retired U.S. Navy Lieutenant Commander has found herself in a glare of media attention ahead of the highly applicable. See, now my screen is starting to glitch because I'm talking. Government report on UFOs. A subject she said she has little interest in. Little does she know. Despite actual encountering one on the job. I don't consider myself a whistleblower. I didn't identify as a UFO person, the former fighter pilot told Reuters in a Zoom interview. Days before the report, explained to Future her own experience and dozens of others like it was due to presenting to Congress. So now there is a retired pilot during a routine training mission with aircraft carrier USS off the southern California coast in November. My tech guy is in the living room eating his soup. I hope. I know he's in the house. Her then commanding officer, fellow pilot David, were asked by another warship to investigate radar contacts in the area moving in a inexplainable fashion. She recounted they first noticed the unusual crunching of the ocean surface before seeing what she and the pilot have described as a smooth white oblong object, reassuringly a tic-tac beneath breath mint flying at high speed over the water. So, in front of my face. When Faber in his jet returned to engage with the object, it appeared to respond in a way that we didn't recognize because it seemed to lack any visible flight control, surfaces, or means of purpose. Footage of what the two pilots witnessed that day, now popular, known as a tic-tac incident, which, what did I say? That you were in the living room, I think. We likely to include a upcoming report from Congress, and that report I just read, along with two other declassified videos taken by U.S. Navy pilot jet in 2015, a similar encounter with what the government calls an unidentified aerial phenomena, or UAP. I will save the rest of this for the next show. I will save that. That's a really good one. Get rid of that one. Save that one. So I hope you guys enjoy It was very interesting reading their thoughts on what the Pentagon, the Congress, and the pilots and, their experiences and their takes in it. So, good. I'm glad. So I will see you guys Thursday. Don't miss it. We will be talking about sigils and the meanings behind them. We will have Ken Allen up again. So until then, stay safe. Keep your eyes open and your cameras closer. Love you guys.